Hello and welcome to social studies for today. You guys are doing so well in this unit. We're going to have a lesson today, and then tomorrow we're not going to have a social studies lesson because, just going to give people a little bit of a chance to kind of get caught up. So speaking of getting caught up, I'm just going to give some dojo points. If your name is highlighted, this is because you did the work for members of the Grand Council, okay? I'm still going through and marking them, but this was the question of you had to do the research in your textbook about how many different chiefs there were in each of the, in the Grand Council, which was 50 chiefs in total, but like how did they make up the 50 chiefs? Because it wasn't 10 from each. So that was the research question that you were supposed to do. So people get dojo points if you did this. Some people have their name highlighted, but you need to go back and double check that you've done this correctly because there's some people that submitted it, but it's not right. So, or you didn't answer the question. So it's a D until you correctly edit. And I've told you exactly what page in the textbook to look onto. Okay. So that is these people. I'm going to say social work done. Okay, right on. So today we are going on to the last part on this page, which is the thing that is in like the scroll, and it's a certain rule that the Iroquois and many other Indigenous populations came up with, but it's really cool. Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay, so first of all, just a little bit of a review from the other day. So the number of chiefs that are in each nation, which is what I wanted you to research, which is on the Grand Council, depends on the population of people within the nation. So a large nation would have more chiefs, just like in a constituency in Alberta, as we've learned earlier. So that's where that idea came from. This is really key. Having more chiefs does not mean a nation has more power or influence because everyone was treated equally. The Tuscarora, which are part of this League of Six Nations, but not the five, they were represented by the chiefs of the Onondaga. So they still had a say, but they were kind of like lumped in with them. And the question today, which we're actually not going to do a response for, but what does this show about the values of the Iroquois? So if you have an idea, you can write that down. Tomorrow during our Zoom, we're going to be talking about that. So what does this show about the values of the Iroquois? Okay. All right. Now, the next thing we're doing today is the seventh generation rule. So this is what can go in that like scroll thing that you have on this side. So seventh generations. Okay. So basically, when making decisions, the Iroquois, this is so cool, did not only think about how their choices would impact their lives, but they considered the long-term effects of their decisions on the environment and the lives of those yet to come, which is called the seventh generation rule. So we're going to watch this video.
It's timely, actually, that we're considering things like sustainability and resiliency as we prepare for the generations that are coming after us. There's a teaching that's found within many Indigenous cultures that talks about the seven generations, the need to consider our impacts on each other, on our environment, and for those faces who have yet to come. So when you see the seven generations represented in a pictograph or within an illustration, you'll see that these seven figures are connected. You'll see that there's a thread that binds all of them. And this again reinforces and really causes us to consider our relation, our interconnection, and our dependency on each other from those that have come before us and for those that will come after us. The teaching places us within a continuum whereby each one of us has parents, and for many of us, we've been lucky to spend time with them, to learn from them and to teach them. We've also therefore had grandparents. Many of us are lucky that we've had time to spend with them, to learn from them and to teach them. And though many of us don't remember it, and perhaps neither do they, we have had time with our great-grandparents. We've had time to learn from them, to teach them, and really absorb some of their journeys within their time on Mother Earth. If we're lucky, we'll each have a child. We'll have time to learn from them and to teach them. If we're really lucky, we'll also be able to spend time with our grandchildren. We'll have time to learn from them, we'll have time to teach them. And if we're really lucky, we'll be able to spend time with our great-grandchildren. The point being, though, is that each one of us spends time in each one of those areas. We spend time as a great-grandparent, a grandparent, a parent, a child, a grandchild, and a great-grandchild. And so the foundational principle of the 7 generations, as I know it to be, is that our choices, our behaviors, and our mistakes reverberate that far throughout history. And so really we challenge ourselves, we challenge each other to make our decisions and our impacts within creation, within that timeline, to respect and care for those 7 generations.
Okay. Nice. Okay, excellent. Very, very good. Okay. Yeah, that is a wonderful, what is going on here? Okay, yeah. So that is really a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful concept that the Indigenous have been able to share with us, and therefore, kind of like require us to think about a little bit as well. Because as he said, like the choices and the behaviors and the actions and the mistakes even that we make and the good choices that we also make have a strong impact on those people to come. And also we have to recognize that the people that came before us have a huge impact upon where we are today. So even like the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, spoke the other day, recognizing Vimy Ridge, which is something that you're going to learn about when you get to secondary, is a really famous battle that happened on Vimy Ridge in France. And that was part of World War II. And the sacrifices that our ancestors made for us then to have like freedom, and even like the fights that are going on right now around the world, like they're all having an impact on now and then also on the future. And even the same thing for this fight on COVID is that like we're still like how we act today makes an impact on what is going to happen in the future. So such an important thing. And not only think about with like health, but also with the environment and anything to do with like resources that are able to be kind of sustained. So your question for today is this: what benefits do you see to this rule being used today? Explain with examples, okay? So that is it. That's not going to be due today. It's going to be due, it's not going to be due tomorrow. It's going to be due on Tuesday. Okay, see you soon.